Welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. Cream of mushroom soup today. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I will now run you through the ingredients. Ingredients: thyme, garlic, dried mushrooms, leek, celery, standard white potatoes, white onion, milk, and I've got some close-cut mushrooms. If you use a portobello or a field mushroom, you'll have a lovely flavoured soup, but it'll be a bit dark. I wanted this one to be slightly paler. Soaking the dried mushrooms is really important. You can just put them in cold water, leave them in the fridge overnight. I had about an hour before I made the stock, so that's what I did there. So other ingredients for the stock: the stalks from the mushrooms. For some reason I put one on the table, no idea why. I'll pick that up any second. I'm going to take half of the leek, the top half. It's really important that you wash the leek, so I'm going to wash that now. Now I'm going to chop it up. This is riveting. Hack the celery up any old way, no finesse required. Don't forget to wash the celery as well. Between the layers there's always bits of grit in there. So to finish off the stock, just again cut the garlic in half or smash it, whatever you want. Reserve half that thyme for later on. It's going to be used for garnish. Half the onion. One of the ingredients I didn't show you earlier was peppercorns. We're going to pop those in. Top this up with water. Get it on the stove. Pop the stock in now with the mushrooms. And a couple of bay leaves for luck. What I'm doing when I'm slicing these mushrooms is I'm trying to keep them nice and thin and uniform. We're going to saute them, and I'm going to reserve some of them for garnish. So a nice hot pan, butter because it makes everything better. Right, so we'll get these mushrooms started. It helps if you add a bit of salt early on, it draws the moisture out. And then you'll be surprised by how much moisture does actually come out of these mushrooms. You want that to simmer away, the water to evaporate, all the flavour will go back into the mushrooms, and then they saute. And they will create that mystical flavour known as umami. Which, let's be honest, no one used to know what that was. Now we all do. There's the water. Now it's gone. Umami. Alright, so I've reserved those mushrooms now. More butter to be even more better. So let's get the remaining vegetables in the pan. Onions, potatoes, come on. Straggler. Wash the leeks. Rest of the time, oh no, not all of the time, I kept another little bit back for later. Right, so meanwhile, that stock's had about an hour at least. Now what I did later is I picked out the dried wild mushrooms, and I did actually pop them in the soup. I wanted to check through them to make sure they weren't gritty at all, and they weren't, they were fine. So that's the remainder of the sautéed mushrooms, other than a few that I've reserved for garnish. Optional. It makes it look nice. So that's a dry white cherry. Feel free to use white wine. You could use a vermouth, but don't use red wine. It's going to ruin the colour. The milk, that really helps the colour. And by the way, I'm using potatoes in this recipe instead of flour. Some will have flour. I think when possible with soups, if you want to get a bit of body into it, use potato. Sometimes you can use rice, it's quite nice as well. So here's my hand blender. This is nice and powerful, this one. And by using this for a good 5 minutes, I was able to get an incredibly smooth soup, and it did not need to be passed at all for a sieve. Now, presentation. Bowl of your choice. You see how smooth that is? Absolutely gorgeous. I've got to say, I'm so pleased with this. And then I'm just going to mess around a little bit with garnish. I made a crouton. There it goes. Pop it under a bit so it just sits at the bottom. And just warm those mushrooms back through again. That is the only time I used cream in this cream of mushroom soup. You can add it in, it's optional. I think you just didn't need it. Also, flicking mushroom soup up the side of the bowl, that's optional. You don't have to do that. I changed my mind, took it off. Anyway, missing a few extra garnishes that you can just carry on watching. I'm very pleased with that soup. Thank you very much for watching Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons again. Please don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it will continue to help my channel develop. And don't forget to check me out in another video in the future. Thank you very much. Bye!